What's happening, my fellow anglers, and welcome to Wanna Go Fishing. Willie here at the good old table of contents. And today's table of contents is brought to you by John Morris of Morris & Son Custom Baits. John called me today, actually he texted me today, and we were talking back and forth, and he asked me a question. He said, Willie, what are your 3 favorite plastics and how do you use them? Well, I said, well, you know what? I have to oblige and answer that question. So how about I answer it like this? I will go make a short video, put it out there showing my 3 favorite plastics and how I use them. And guess what I did today? I made that video. So what I'm about to do is explain and show you fish actually caught with that version of plastic that I like, my 3 favorites, my top 3, how I rig them up and how I use them. So I'm going to get you down right here where you can see on this table, the good old table of contents, and see what I'm dealing with here. And with each one of these baits that I show you, we'll take you out to the lake. So sit back, don't expect to learn much, because all of this stuff I wing, literally wing it. That's what fishing's all about. Experiment, get out there. Try different things. If one thing isn't working, try something else. Don't be stuck on the same thing all day long and not catch anything. Try something different. That's what we do. That's what I do. But don't do it because I do it. People might think you're crazy. People think I'm crazy. Anyway, let's get you down here and let's take a look at what's going on here. All right, here you are down here on the table of contents, and I'm going to show you the people, what I use and why I like using it, how I set it up. First one we're going to go with is going to be this guy right here. Now that I've used in several of my last videos, that is a Bass Pro Shops Sticko, okay? They make these in a bunch of different colors. Today I decided I was going to go, it was a thunderstorm was actually coming up, so it was a little bit overcast and cloudy and it had been sprinkling. So I'm going to go with that red first. And how I do that, I'm going to show you the hook that I use. I use 2 different versions of hook. These are number 2s. Come on out of there, you hook. Okay, and this is an octopus hook in the number 2. I used both of these. Oh look, I think it made a heart. It did. That's just unbelievable. Those are the 2 hooks that I like to use. They are kind of small, but they do the job quite well. I am a Palomar knot person. That has always been my go-to knot. It's very strong and I like the way that it ties easily. It's not hard for me to remember how to do. And what I like to do is pull out this here Sticko, and we're gonna, it's very simple. I don't do anything overly complicated. There are people that like to use the O-ring version, but all I do, I find about what I consider the middle of the worm, and I put that thing with the tip of that hook, as long as that barb goes up in there, and I put the tip of the hook up in there. And really right there is the extent of how I like to do the wacky rig, okay? And I have another little thing I like to do. I'll take one of these little football shaped clam style little split shots. That's what I like to use. And I will pinch that guy onto the line about 10 inches above the worm. People ask me why I do that. I do that for 2 reasons. One, I want the worm to fall a little bit faster than being weightless. I have never had good luck with weightless. So I prefer to have a little bit of a weight there that takes that thing down to the bottom. And when I pull it, that slack, it's hard to explain, but when that split shot pulls upward and drags that worm, the split shot falls quickly. So it brings that worm back down to the ground just in case that thing jumps up off the ground a little bit. So that's my reasoning behind it. I've had people argue with me about it, but I like using it that way, so there you go. That's how I do it. So with that being said, how about we jump out there to the lake and we catch a fish with that guy? How about that? Huh? 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 Okay, we're out here, and I'm going to give you a quick shot of the arsenal in which we're using today. This is a Mitchell 310. I believe they call this the 310X Gold. Bought it a long time ago. Really liked the little guy. Does quite well. Got some 4-pound trout magnet on it. And we have this on a Quantum Graphite X EX. It's an IM6 graphite rod that the tip was actually broke off of, that I found in a flea market or somewhere. And anyway, had the tip repaired, and it's kind of stiff now because it's cut down probably about 6 inches. So she's a little stiff. And it's really great for setting the hook when you're worming. So that's what I use it for. Then we have the PC Fin Flame 2000 on the laser speed stick by Lew's. And we have the PC Fin 2000 also here in the Viper 2. And that is on the Tango rod, which is a little bit longer. We're going to get a little bit extra distance out of him. There we go. There we go. Wow, he's way out there. Come on, little Mitchell. A little 4-pound test. Bring him in. Goodwill rod. Man, he's fighting. Gave a little jump there earlier. They always head for them weeds over there. Come on back from them weeds. You come on here to me. There you are. Flown my worm up. No, you didn't. You just kind of swallowed it. I'm gonna drag you through the goose poop. Sorry about that. Now let's get my fingers in your mouth. There we go. All right, there's our first wacky rig bass of the day on a black and what was that? A red sparkle. Now here's something else I'm gonna tell you to be careful about. You see the way that line is dragging across, and I'm gonna tell you what, those teeth right there, don't look it, but they are as sharp as a razor blade. Okay, when that line drags across it, especially when you're dealing with 4-pound test, you're going to want to make sure that there are no cuts or abrasions in that line, because as sure as you don't check, the next fish you catch will be that 5-pounder. It's going to test the limits of your line. All right, so there we go. Going to get him back in the water. Had to get my utensils. There you go. See you later, big guy. All right, and for my second trick of the day, I will show you what I like to use when it comes down to really using a regular worm. Kind of your basic worm setup. There's nothing out of the ordinary with it. When I do that drag thing, I like to use something with a tail, with a C-shaped tail that gives a little bit of a, action coming through the water. I don't reel fast. I reel kind of slow, because this guy is on the ground. It's on the bottom, and it's just snaking its way on down through the grass and the reeds and the rocks and sticks and whatever else. So I like the tail to give a little bit of that action, because to me, I believe that tail is what really causes the strike. That's my personal opinion. But the hook that I like to use for that, I've been using for a while, is this is what the Super Lock, it's a worm hook, really just a worm hook. #1 size. It is a little bit small and wiry, but extremely sharp, and really gets into that fish, and which is what you want. You want it to be that way. I also use, let's see, I know I got one in here somewhere. I say I know I got one in here somewhere. Boy, was I unprepared. Where's that thing? Oh, there. In this green box, I just couldn't see it. Now I forget what size these are. They're a little bit smaller. There's nothing big about that at all, and the size kind of eludes me. And the size is really up to you. It depends on how far you want to cast it and how fast you want it to get to the bottom. That's really up to you. But that is what I use on the hook. Well, not on the hook, obviously. Let's pull one of them out so you can take a good look at it. Now again, I still do the polymer knot thing. That little weight right there. Of course, you slip it on the line first. Then you tie your hook. Now what I like to do with the worm is simple. It's never mattered to me what is top and what is bottom of the worm. I don't care about that. And I truly don't believe the fish cares about that either. What I do is I take the hook, come through the end. If I can get to the end, there it is. And it doesn't have to be perfect. There are people out there that are kind of OCD about that kind of stuff, but it doesn't bother me none. And I'll take and give it the spin. Be careful not to go too far with it, because it will, in every way, shape, and form, go too far and ride right over top of the hook. So we want to get it out there on the end. What I do is I bend the worm inward, trying my best to put that in the middle, because I cannot see, because I'm holding it 3 feet away from me trying to show you. I will bring the tip of the hook, and this is nothing out of the ordinary for anybody, I'm sure. The tip of the hook just barely through the worm. There you go. And I'll let her lay flat just like that. So technically, that's how it is going to look with that weight at the end. And there you go. That's what it's going to look like. So the tip of that hook, right there, you can feel it. It's digging into my finger right there. When that thing goes whoop, and you set the hook, there ain't nothing going to get off of that. What I do is let that hit the ground. And there's 2 ways I do it. I can twitch it and give it, you know, that action of moving through the water, or I just barely creep that thing through there. And that tail coming through the weeds and all that stuff, that I believe personally is what causes the strike. So how about we venture on out to the water and see one caught like that? That's what I wanted. And I tried a different retrieve. I tried a straight reel instead of a jerk twitch. That, man, you just got no idea how much this makes me feel good right here, that this method caught a fish. Oh, this is awesome. This is freaking awesome. Oh yeah, this is great. Look at that. And all I did was slowly retrieve, no twitching involved at all, just slowly drag it. And I think that swirly curly tail is probably what did it in right there. That's awesome. All right, let this creature go catch some more. All right, we are back. What do you think about that? What do you think about catching fish like that? It's kind of fun, and really that's the first time, number one, I'm saying number one, whatever, is the very first time I ever used a worm like that there at that lake. I've never done that, and I was actually kind of worried at making this video I'd get out there and I wouldn't catch anything that way. And I did. It was crazy. Now, my third pick, honestly, is my first pick. It is my go-to. It's what I do a lot of times. I started doing this using spinners, these guys. And here, how did this happen? How in the world does that even happen? This is how I started this next example of bait that I use. And it really started with beetle spins and things like that. I started just using a regular, this is a 1/16 eagle claw jig head, but this has the red hook. I love using these things. The hooks are not overly powerful, but everything that I have never broke a hook. I've never, in any way, shape, or form. When that thing goes into a fish, it's there to stay. It doesn't throw it. I have bent them being hooked on trees and stumps and things like that, which is great because I'd rather get my bait back. But I love grubs by themselves. I will take a grub like this right here, and which is one of my favorite colors. Is this? It's almost like a shad. I think let's see, Bass Pro Shops is the one who makes this, and they call it thread fin shad. I don't know what that means exactly, but thread fin shad is what they call it. Maybe it's the name of a type of shad, I'm not sure. But the simplicity of this is amazing, and it really attracts fish. I have casted this thing and it go in the water, and as soon as it goes in the water, something hits it before I can even pull it through. But the simplicity of this is nothing more than you want the hook to come out of the top, which I've always been, top is dark. This is how I am. So you take that guy right there. Now I'm going to show you something else that I do. This is just something that I do because I've noticed it. The bait, these things, these little barbs right here, they tear the bait up. They are designed to keep the bait on it, but I will take my little fingernail clippers, and usually I do this before I put the bait on it. I will take and snip that down just slightly. It's just something I do. I don't know why I do it, but I do know why I do it, because it tears the bait up. So I take and I go through there like that. I will go up past the bend slightly, bring the hook through the top of the dark piece, push it on, and there you have it. That is my go-to when I really want to cover some territory, see if anything's in there that's hitting. And a lot of times when it's really hot in the summer, this doesn't work. All of these, all of the worms and the bottom rig type stuff like this works better when it's really hot, because I find that the fish around here want an easy meal, and having to chase this down when you're retrieving it, they either have to be extremely hungry, or they're the little dinks that, you know, are like, oh, look, food, no one else is chasing, I'm going after that. But that's how I use this. Polymer knot, same as anything else. And a slow, steady retrieve that keeps that tail moving. Sometimes you can stop, let it fall a little bit, and retrieve some more, but these will snag, okay? If there are any limbs, stumps, whatever, if this thing manages to drop down and that hook digs in it, forget it. It ain't coming back. You'll straighten that hook out maybe if you get it back in, but that's pretty much it. But anyway, let's go on out to the water, show you a real quick fish catch with that guy right there. That's all it took. Just had to change up a bit. They don't care about the big old worms right now. There you go. That guy right there. First cast in the same spot you've been casting in, and catch a fish. That just shows you right there, people. Don't be scared to try something different if something's not working. So there you go. That is my answer to Mr. Morris. My 3 favorite plastics that I like to use and how I use them. Again, may not be right, but what is right? I don't know. I catch fish with it. May somebody else catch more? Yeah, probably. But I'm happy with what I do, and I'm happy with the fish I catch. So that's all it's about, isn't it? Being happy? I'm happy. Look at me. Anyway, now that you've seen, now that John has seen, John is also a custom bait maker, which is, you know, Morris & Son Custom Baits. John, now that you've seen what I like, me and you need to hook up. Anyway, I hope y'all got something from this. I'm sure there's plenty of you out there that already do pretty much what I do and probably have a better version of it. But that's what I do. So basically what it all boils down to is, do you want to go fishing? And if you do, get on out there. Give this stuff a try. Start out with the little grub. Start there. If that doesn't work, switch to a worm of some kind. Wacky rig, the traditional bullet style, or a grub. Give them all a try, because there are things out there that will eat them, obviously. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Hope it did something for you in some way, shape, or form. I would like to thank you for watching, and I also would like to thank all my subscribers that are backing me and behind me. From the bottom of my heart, and want to go fishing, and Evan, my editor, who has been tough as nails through all of this and deals with me and puts up with all of this, we all say thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for the great comments. Thank you for the likes. We'll see you next time.